All right. Merry Christmas, everybody. It is noon on December 23rd, and we went live a couple minutes early, but let me do this to give everybody a second to get in here. Let's do this.
It's open when it's light, it's open when it's dark. It's the treasure hunt amusement park. Masquerade and Forrest Fenn are closed, but there are plenty more rides than just those. There's Beacon Star and Treasure Man, Vegas Die and Oak Island. Give 'em a try and you'll be smiling. This place never closes, that's for certain. There's always a reason to keep searching. Boots on the ground, look, look, look. Your ticket to the ride is the book. The dream of the treasure is the hook. The dream of the treasure is the hook. Keep searching forever, start searching now. Grand adventures with K-Pro and Cow. The secret, a gypsy's kiss, the whistle pig. Come watch our show, win a prize, little or big. This place never closes, that's for certain. There's always a reason to keep searching. Boots on the ground, look, look, look. Your ticket to the ride is the book. The dream of the treasure is the hook. The dream of the treasure is the hook.
Okay. So, first question is K Pro, why are we going live at noon on a Wednesday?
So, this will set the tone for the rest of the show. So let me be hopefully a little tiny bit elegant and not as blunt as I want to be. There has been some questions. Some people have questioned your integrity, Mike, and I don't think that's okay. They have said Mike has made up that this source even existed, and even more so that this source ever said that they knew the finder, that he knew the finder, and went so far as to say, Mike, you're a liar. And I will say, I believe the source might have been trying to cover up in some way, so may have lied to some other people. But we just decided we're going to set the record straight, and you guys are going to see the actual messages. It's not going to be a he said and she said, and let's read this, and you guys can't see it. No, let's just bring the actual messages out that actually show what I allude to all the time, and you guys hate it. Like, oh, I wish I could say how Jack and Source, we're not going to say his name, but Source knew each other. And how did that meeting happen? How did that discussion happen? How long has he known him? How did he know him? How did he know about some things that were going to come out? We just decided rather than the he said, she said, and ridiculous stuff that's happening on social media, we're just going to bring it. We're just going to bring it. And actually, Mike is okay with this because once you see some direct information, I've been wanting to do this all along, I'll say, but he has been very, very patient. But once you question his integrity, he's like, yeah, I'm not going to break my word to this person, but let's bring it all out. We'll like make sure names aren't shown, and we have, or he has redacted some of the stuff that would show the actual person's identity or information. But, and it's like a little Christmas present, and it will put to bed whether the one thing that I will say on the GPS solve is we believed it. This is just what we thought at the time. Now you guys are going to see
I
some
still
of,
lean toward believing it, but that's just me.
yeah, and so up to this point, we just want you guys to know that we were genuine. We might say breaking news, and you guys, but we are always genuine in what we're saying. We don't lie about things. And tonight is going to be that or today is going to be that information. We were supposed to go live last night. I kind of had a rough day yesterday, so Mike actually had to cook dinner and do all the things during the day. So he didn't slow down until about 11 o'clock last night and said, "Hey, we were supposed to go live. Do you want to go live?" And I thought, yeah, that was your life as a mom for a day because I didn't take the kids, I didn't cook the meals, and Mike ran, and you could see his face is still puffy, and he's on medication. So we were supposed to go live yesterday. We didn't. So we don't want to run into any of the programming tonight. So there is the long-winded story of why we've decided to bring it today to you. Hard-hitting information. And if there is any question about anything doctored in any of this, if source goes there at all, I dare you, because there's lots more that can be shared, my friend. I'm not as enthusiastic about the source as Mike is.
Well, there's a couple theories out there, right? A lot of it's on Reddit and some other places. A lot of people are like, there is no source. We just made it up. We totally made it up. That's one theory. The other theory is there's a searcher who sent us a solve. And because we like it, because those numbers are in the poem, it kind of made sense to us. We decided to go live with it. But we decided to make up the part where they said they knew the finder and they knew this was right. Right. And then there's that. And then there's the I think somebody even said, the source actually sent it to us, said they knew the finder, but don't go public with it. But we decided to go public, kind of against their wishes type thing. So we're going to show you the messages. We're going to show you the correspondence between me and the source, and you guys make up your own decision. I mean, that's kind of what it boils down to. Is we're going to show it, and you guys can make your own call on what you think. But the way I feel about it, me and K-Pro differ a little bit about the importance of this, or does it matter? And the way I look at it is New Year's Eve is coming up, the end of this year, the start of the new year. So I'm kind of doing this just to kind of put it to bed. Then we can kind of be done with it finally, meaning the source, meaning was it real? Was it not real? At the end, when we go through the messages, I'll give you a couple scenarios of what I believe is going on, as actually going on. And again, once you guys see the messages, you can make your own decisions. So yeah, this is the year it was found. Now we know about Jack. We know all that kind of stuff. So you guys can, and is the GPS solve correct? Could it be correct? Those are the things we'll talk about once we go over the messages. But yeah, for anybody to straight up call us liars, that is an issue, then we're going to respond. So here we are. So go ahead.
And Nomadic Man says, I'm not sure why you need to cook dinner if there's a Taco Bell nearby. So in case you don't know, Mike loves fast food, but Mike, Mike has made kind of a dedication to me. One, he no longer has sugar in his life, other than me. No sugar, and then we limit going out takeout, because I haven't had fast food in years. I have more fast food than I've ever had. Mike has a lot less. We don't do fast food, maybe once every 2 weeks. So, Nomadic Madman, that is the answer to your question. And Mike's been a really good sport about it, because sugar is tough to break if you're used to having it, like in your coffee.
That fine white powder, it is tough to break. Charles, you view the messages we're going to show. You make your own decision on what the source was trying to say. That's kind of why we want to show it. Oh, yeah, and that's sweet. I see what you did there, talking about sugar. Okay.
Well, and so here's the other thing. I did ask Jack flat out about the GPS solve. He says he does not know this person, and I did give him the name, and the GPS solve was not involved. If you use my theory that he cannot say if it was involved, because that would give the location, and then the treasure chest would be in question, many of you are still with the GPS solve. I like the GPS solve. I just wish it was cleaner. It wasn't around the source and other things, but we're never going to get that. So it's up to you guys. Since there was enough questioning of Mike's integrity, we know me. We know I'm shenanigans. I'm a scoundrel. I'm terrible. But don't question Mike. I mean, come on. So, and especially when you question Mike, he brings it. So this will be we're going to walk through, I'd say, the pertinent messages. This isn't all the messages. And source, there's plenty more if you question anything here, my friend. So I think this will be just informational, if anything. If you were invested in the GPS solve, if you like some question Mike and his integrity, or just want to kind of see what the source said partially about there's some before we knew Jack and after we knew Jack. He says he knew Jack all along. So without further ado, Michael, Cowlazars.
Okay, everybody, here we go. That's right. Now, I know some people are going to say, why is it breaking news? It's only breaking news because this is the first time we've ever shown the messages. That's why it's breaking news. Some people can care less about the source and the GPS solve and whatever, and that's fine, guys. Bovine Lazar, bovine photons. That's right. Okay, here we go. But no, we're not going to actually name the source because the source has always asked us not to. So we're going to honor that for sure. Here we go. And I just took screenshots, guys. This is what it is. These are screenshots from, so this is June 6th. You can see right here at the top. It says June 6th. This is the day that Forrest announced it was found. And basically I was sent a message that said 44.826. Yeah. Eric, hey, Eric, got to be quiet, okay? Otherwise go upstairs. All right. We got a house full of kids, everybody, waiting for Christmas. Okay, so he sent us a GPS coordinates, said, can't say more. And I said, do you know who found it? And they said, I can't say more. Mount Washburn's ablaze. And I said, okay, thanks. We will talk. In other words, a lot of people emailed us. A lot of people text us saying, I know where it was found. I don't know how many people said, I know who found it, but a lot of people were like, my solution was correct. So I just said, okay, thanks for the info, and just kind of ignored it. And then when I said, okay, thanks, if I show you something, you can promise not to share it. It will explain a lot. Nothing else can be said yet. And I said, of course. And they said the keyword was paddle. And they sent this scrapbook 107, homophones. And then he gives the source, gives what they believe the solution was, all these different clues. And I just basically said, okay, like not looked into it, didn't be like, what does this mean? Everything was, so many things were going on that night when Forrest, all this was sent, by the way, while me and K-Pro were live that night talking about it when Forrest said it was found. So again, this was sent and I didn't even get a chance to, I was responding to him to say, okay. And then I just wanted to know, you found it, yes or no. That was the important thing to me is, are you the person that found it? It says it was not me, but I know who has it. It was very recent. I said, okay, wow, anyone I know? And they said, I can't say anything. The solve will be public. And they sent some more info. And I just said, I'm not understanding, but okay, I hope to talk to you about the solve soon.
Okay, hold on a second.
Go ahead.
So at this point, he's saying this is the first of about 15 times. He says he knows who the finder is. He did say the solve will be public, which I think is really interesting because obviously that becomes important later. That's the second thing. And the third thing, this I will tell you, I wasn't even involved in. I didn't know that this, I knew because both of us had so many people I think I was up to 40 some odd people that had contacted me saying that they had the chest. Mike was getting things like this. So I think you might have mentioned it to me that night because this is somebody that he mentioned the person and said, oh, I guess he knows who it is too. I completely brushed it off at this point. Okay, keep going. And guys, ask questions along the way. Just put at KPro or super chat is on for Mike the Liar in case you want to.
And make sure you thumbs up the video because a lot of people want to know. They're like, what exactly did this person tell you? What exactly? Well, now we're going to let you guys know since there's so many conspiracy theories about what really happened. But yeah, super chat's on if you do have a question that you just have to have answered. And again, we reserve the right not to answer certain things. Like we said, we're not going to say who the person is who sent us this. Yeah, because that's what they asked. But okay, here we continue on. Now, this is later. This is still June 6th. I said, I don't understand what you're saying, but will they release the solve? Any idea of the time frame? Now, this is on June 9th, 3 days later. And they say the plan was always to release it. Everything is on pause now for legal, tax, etc. So at this point, I don't know. He sends a picture and I says, interesting. What's the one item? Meaning the one item that Forrest Fenn never told us about. And he says an IOU. Sends another picture.
Okay, wait. Oh, wait. Yeah. Now, these are the Nook pictures that we talk about on Operation Nook. So he's sending these pictures, and that becomes important later. But he also says the one item is an IOU, which is interesting to me because Jack is saying that he's given me kind of a rundown of all of the items in the treasure chest. And I don't think he's ever said yes or no to the IOU situation. Have you seen the Shy Guys videos? If you're talking about Jack's videos, I don't know who you mean by the Shy Guy.
I think there's somebody on YouTube that says that the name of the YouTube channel is Shy Guy or Shy Guy from back east, and they're making videos. And I tried watching one last night. I think somebody sent me one, but I didn't really understand. Like unless there's something new in it or some kind of proof, But again, so then I know what you're going to say. Well, this source, they didn't have any proof. Right. But it's somebody who's saying, I know the finder. And then they send me pictures, which I guess at that point, I'm assuming is of the place where it was found. But you'll see. There's more messages. You'll see.
Yeah, there's more. I just want to stop at the end of each one in case there's questions. This is building up. This is part of the conversation of why Cindy and I are jumping in a car. We grab Justin on the way. These are the things that have come out, that are building to the story. We said all this before, but you guys didn't see it. So some people have questioned Mike's integrity and called Mike a liar because the source never said that he knew the finder. Well, on June 6th, but you're going to see a lot more about how he knew the finder, what he says about the search team, all of that. Go, Mike.
All right, here we go. Interesting. What was the one item on IOU? And at this point, still not really giving, just okay. It's interesting conversation. At this point, we never went live. We never brought it up. This is June 16th.
I'm not even in the discussions.
I don't even think I told K-Pro about it.
Yeah.
And then September 8th, and we let it go all the way to September 8th. We never talked about it. We let it go. It was not a point of discussion. But September 8th, Forrest dies, and the source sends me a message and says Forrest died. If you haven't seen, and I said yes, just did. This is the day that Forrest died, or actually the next morning, maybe September 8th. I expect this will lead to some additional news shortly. And I said I found out about 10 minutes ago. Wow. Yeah, this was the next day, September 8th. Then we find out he actually died on September 7th, and it was kept a secret, right, until the next day or whatever. And I said, wow, found out 10 minutes ago. And then the source says he had cancer for about a year and decided not to treat it last fall. And I said, any news from the finder coming out? Because again, I'm remembering that this person is saying they know the finder, that the solution and the reveal and all that will be coming out. And the source says, I know it wasn't going to be before Forrest passed. How soon after, I am not sure. And that was the 11th. Now we jump to the 18th. And the source says on September 18th, might be some news next week, Tuesday, but there are still moving parts. And I said about the solution. And he says, no, the finder. In other words, not the solution, but information from the finder. Is he going to go public? A press event. But like I said, some things are still fluid, but I heard something positive just a little bit ago. And then on September 22nd, he says on hold again. I don't know what the issue is, just that it is not resolved.
Yeah, so, hold on before you go ahead. So this is the reason that I thought the Tuesday, he said something was going to come out on Tuesday, and there was a little mix up, and I'm the first to say that I didn't remember it exactly right. I thought he sent that on Tuesday saying it's going to come out the next day. It was the previous week. So when you guys see that, you can see he actually sent something that said information's coming out next Tuesday. And then, yeah, there's that. So I know that was in question. It was absolutely, he didn't know that anything was coming out. He might not have, but he sent a message that said it to Mike, unless you think this is all made up.
Well, the other thing is, so what basically is what's happened to this point? A searcher has sent a solve, and basically on the day the treasure chest was found, said this is where it was found, and then says, I know inside details. We don't know if it's true or not. This is just what somebody sent us. But I can say this about the source. He's not crazy. And I use crazy as a loose term. In other words, we've corresponded about other things. He's not a crazy person, okay? He's not saying, I know this, that. He's not one of those people that's obsessed, that emails you 50 times a day. You know what I mean? Some of the people we have dealt with and some of the people that have told us, I know where it was. It wasn't in Wyoming. It was in New Mexico. It's none of that kind of thing. But again, we don't go live yet. We're still just, okay, that's interesting. Basically, you got to give me something to make me believe you. At this point, I have not even looked in the poem at the GPS numbers. I don't even understand what his solution is because I just never took the time to try and figure it out. Other than he said, I think Homophones and Scrapbook 107. I don't think I even looked up Scrapbook 107 at this point. Okay. All right. And then it starts to get a little more interesting.
Yeah, and Goldilocks says, I'm still not buying it. That's my opinion. I hope you weren't duped because I'm still sounds shady to me. What is this person's motivation? We're going to go into that from kindness of his heart. That's what he says. He did it for the community. But Goldilocks, this is more to say. At this point, there was questions of, did we make all this up? And unless we made up all of these messages, these are the actual messages that go back and forth. Of course, that this is going to hopefully at least resolve in some people's mind that Mike is not just this huge bold-faced liar. Okay.
I mean, I may have went if somebody just sent me the numbers in the poem, I probably would have went live about it, just like we did about Try the Wheel, about some of the anagrams. Shout out to Anagram in the chat room. But this is a person who says they have inside information. There's news coming out next week. Forrest said, different things. So it's at this point, it's just interesting.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
William says, clearly I questions Mike's judgment on crazy people. Exactly, Mike. And that I was biting my tongue. I will just say that there is some past history that this person wasn't pristine and being honest in the past from my interactions. And so I'm just going to leave it at that. Do I think crazy like 50 messages a day, like crazy like that? No, but yeah, I don't think crazy, dishonest, yes, but I think, and that was the reason it was like, yeah, but it's this person, but seemed genuine enough, not insane like some people have been, where I had to send some messages yesterday, and I'm really sorry, but I'm getting probably more messages now than ever. And there's 3 or 4 people that send me probably 30, 40, 50 a day, and then upset that I'm not reading them. I can't read them. The source is not that kind of person, but there has been some issues of honesty in the past. Okay, Mike, go.
All right. And we continue on. Thus, September 22nd, on hold again, meaning news from the finder. The source is saying news from the finder. On hold again. I don't know what the issue is, just it's not resolved. September 22nd. Now, some of this I redacted, and that's because either a name was used that we're not going to talk about, because, again, we're protecting the identity of the source because that's who they requested. All along, they've requested that. If there's any time the source wants to come out, they can, of course, post whatever they want to, make it their own video. Or there's information that just doesn't pertain to to Forrest Fenn solution, which I redacted. And then it says there were multiple people involved. I know one of them, but friend isn't the right word. Actually, this might be out of order. No, that's right. This is right, because this is where the article comes out. Okay. There were multiple people involved. I know one of them, but friend isn't the right word. Acquaintance is better. I knew they had it figured out last fall, but couldn't get there. I believe the story is coming out soon, and it's just a question of maximizing financial benefit at this point. Forrest knew that he was sick, and my understanding was that he asked them to wait with releasing anything. I believe I know the exact spot, but haven't gone to look myself. If I hear anything specific, I'll let you know. How's Vegas and COVID these days? I assume not much is open. I said, you saw the article today. So the Medium article comes out, and this is after Forrest died, of course. The Medium article comes out. So I reach out to the source and say, you saw the article today? And he says, I did not. I've actually been sick, And I say, an article came out from the Finder. And he says, can you link it to me? And he says, last I heard was something was coming on Tuesday. And then on Monday, I heard it was on hold again. It sounded like a Today Show appearance or something of that sort. And then here's the article. But up above, he's saying he says up here, some things are still fluid, but I heard something positive, on hold again. So he's saying information's coming out, but then it keeps getting put on hold. Okay. Then the article comes out.
Wait, no, go back one. Go back one, because we got to talk about this.
Okay.
So I think this top left paragraph is important, because it's putting context. He's not just saying, I know the Finder. He is saying, I know the Finder, and here is how. This is the first step in, I'm not a friend, I'm more of an acquaintance. Is this where he talks about how they all got together? Okay, that's later. Okay, so this is the first time, or this is now building the story of, it's just not who I know. I know him. I wouldn't say friend, I wouldn't go as close as friend, but I would definitely say acquaintance. He gets into more how he knows him, how he knows the solve, all of that in a minute. So that's important. And now this is interesting, because the article comes out and now he's going to say some actual details. And that's what starts, I think this is when it gets on my radar, that they're having interaction. Yeah.
Well, the first thing he's said all along, the source has maintained all along, nothing's going to come out until after Forrest dies. And that's exactly what happened. Nothing did come out until Forrest died. The Finder releases this article. So that's the number one thing he was right about, the source. Okay. The second thing is he's like, I heard something was coming out on Monday, and then it was on hold again. And then this came out, I believe it was a Wednesday when the Medium article came out. A Wednesday or a Tuesday. It might have been a Tuesday. Okay.
And that becomes important, because that is what I remembered when he said it was Tuesday. This isn't somebody that I kind of had a positive feeling about. So I was like, hey, Mike, it's Tuesday. Nothing came out. And then the next morning, something came out. That is the first time it clicked to me that I can recall in this whole thing. It's like, oh, he may have some. It was aligned closely enough that I went, oh, I actually thought he sent it Tuesday saying it's delayed today. It's coming out tomorrow. I got that a little off. He didn't say that until after the fact, but we're going to actually show you guys that. So, you know,
And
but go ahead.
no, it's just to say, again, there is a game of telephone being played because I'm corresponding with this person. I'm relaying it to K-Pro after the fact. K-Pro has never sat down and read any of these messages at this point. It's just me telling her, hey, so-and-so said this, so-and-so said that, you know, kind of interesting. The timing's interesting about what you're saying. And again, we haven't gone live or anything. This is still just correspondence with one of the many searchers who thinks they know what's going on. Although this person has got details of, I heard something was coming on Tuesday, and then on Monday, the Forrest was sick. He was going to die. Forrest does die. I know nothing was going to come out until after Forrest died. After Forrest died, the Finder puts out this article. So it's just kind of interesting how these things are fitting. Okay. It's not the typical email from an obsessed searcher saying, I know where it was. I know, blah, blah, blah. Okay. I said, what do you think? And then I was talking about casino. And he says, that is absolutely him. So right there, if anybody wants to say the source never intimated or not intimated, it came right out and said they know him. He says, this is absolutely him, meaning the Finder in the article. I saw those pictures on the same day it was announced. Now, again, we don't know the Finder's identity. The Finder is still anonymous at this point, right? This is the anonymous article. But he says that is absolutely him, meaning I saw those pictures on the same day it was announced. Now, remember, there's pictures in the Medium article that have never been released. They're not on Dale's blog. That's how we knew the Medium article was legit. But our source is saying, I saw those pictures on the same day it was announced. What do you think about that, K-Pro?
This is where it went from, for me, and maybe he duped me, but this is where it went for me. We had this miscommunication before. It seemed okay. If he didn't seem like the type to flat out lie, he's flat out lying to somebody at this point, but he didn't seem like the type to flat out lie. This is where it went from, okay, we're sifting through the 30, 40, 50 people that had come forward. I have the chest. I know the answers, all of that. Those are falling by the wayside. This one now, between something's coming out next Tuesday, it came out next Wednesday. This article, him saying that's absolutely him. I saw those pictures, and he was kind of a known and not a crazy person in our mind. That is when it got on my radar of, Mike, tell me more about this. When did you correspond with him? And I think Mike said, oh, the day it was found when we were live. And it was like, oh, tell me more about it. So it's been going on now like a month or two, and it had not hit my radar yet. So now it's hitting my radar that there might be some legitimacy to it, more than just someone saying, you know, whatever they want to say. Okay, now we get into the good stuff.
Okay. The source says it was in the park. Well, we know. Now, this is before, I can't remember if this is before or after Wyoming came out as a state. I believe it was, believe Forrest had already posted. Yeah, that's right. Because
Yes.
Forrest said it before he died. So we know it was Wyoming. And the source says it was in the park, not far from there. And he sends a picture of some trees, basically right here. And he sends, now, if you notice, the GPS coordinates have changed. Now it's 442600, 110, 4202.0. And there is some interesting misdirection in that after rereading it, talking about the Medium article. Funny. Anyway, I'll let you know if I end up there next week. Be well. So again, he's saying it was found right here. And he's not saying, I think. He's saying, no, it was found not far from here. These are the GPS coordinates. I know who found it. This is the story thus far of what he's telling us. Again, we don't have any proof he's right. But it sure sounds interesting when he says something's going to come out. Nothing's going to come out till Forrest dies. I'm an acquaintance with somebody who knows the Finder, or however he worded that in the earlier message. So this is just not another searcher saying, hey, it was in my spot. This is somebody saying, I have inside knowledge of what happened. I saw the pictures in that Medium article the day it was found, is what the source is telling us. Okay.
And I know the person. So now Lodgepole Pine picture and the two Nook pictures. He is saying this is the exact spot. So our belief was those were the Finder's pictures. There's going to be some clarity on that later when
we assumed that was from the Finder. And in
right,
that,
because he says this is the exact spot.
Right.
We assumed that meant the finder's exact spot, not his wild guess. And that actually was helpful because when we released those pictures, some people had seen those pictures before, and it helped us clarify that he didn't quite tell us. He didn't clarify in a way, or we misassumed, whichever one. But this tells you why those 3 pictures were what we thought. These were the messages. This is the exact spot, not far from here. Those pictures, he was alluding that this is the exact spot. That'll become important later too.
But here's
So
the other
now
thing.
I'm all in at this point. I'm like, this is cool.
Yeah, now we're like, holy cow, what if it's right? And now I'm actually looking into the poem, the numbers and all that. And I'm going, holy crap, the GPS numbers are in the poem. 44, 26, 00, 110, 42, 2. Those are there. And then you look at scrapbook 107. It's all starting to make sense. And then me and K-Pro are going back and forth with things that Forrest has said. He always tell Cynthia, take a GPS, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's just certain things we're looking at old statements going, that kind of fits in a weird kind of way.
Wait, so one of them that really got me was when Cynthia asked Forrest, if you were to concentrate on anything this year. I don't remember exactly the question, but it was like, how would you hone in and find this? And he's like, how many minutes and seconds till I tell you go? And she went into her book and she actually wrote it. There's one page that says minutes and seconds. And she's like, he was telling me, because I told her about this. That's why she was excited. The last message about how to find it, he said, how many minutes and seconds until I tell you go? And then you look at her doodle, and the doodle has it in the pocket, and this is Pocket Creek. I hate to say this became the perfect storm. Whether it's right or wrong, that wasn't just the finder saying, or just the source saying, I know this, I know that. Then you have this other evidence from Cynthia. It is exact. It's a cool solve, in my opinion, if it were the case. So this is all mounting. We still have more to go, but this is all mounting. Okay, go.
And the other thing is, it doesn't really matter who took the pictures. I think me and K-Pro are assuming the pictures are from the finder. But even if they're not, the source is saying it was right there, meaning this is a picture of where it was found or nearby it. So that's it. The source is saying that's it. That's the place. Not this is just somewhere I went. Not this is just a possible location. He's saying that this is it. So all right, let's keep going. And again, K-Pro is not left yet to go to Yellowstone. We have not gone live on any of this at this point. Okay. Okay. There is some interesting misdirection. Say thanks. Been doing that. I do not know that for certain. Can you say what the blaze is? I say, okay, can you say what the blaze is? And the person says, I don't know that for certain. And I say, okay, let's hope the finder gives us something. And he says, I heard 2 different versions as far as the blaze. I heard 2 different versions, and I'm not sure I believe either of them. This is from the source. They are trying to sell the story. I was told it was a done deal and it was happening that Tuesday. Then I heard there was an issue. Then the Medium article came out the next day. I heard from the person I know that is closest that was intended to drum up competition for the story, meaning the Medium article was intended to drum up competition so they could sell the story. And that is really the last piece of news that I would call credible. And I said, hell, I know people would be interested in buying the story. How are they getting the word out that they will sell? And the source says they hired an agent broker. I 100%, and then the source says, I 100% know for sure that the understanding was that it would not happen while Forrest was alive. That was his request. And I say, well, any info you can pass on to me would be appreciated. I know some serious people shopping it to Netflix. They would pay, I'm sure. And then the source says he was sick, as I'm sure you know, and he knew he didn't have long, meaning Forrest. So I'm just asking some questions. Go ahead.
I was going to say that actually confirms what comes out later, which is Forrest asked me to wait. But that article is not out yet. That's just information for it to come out later. So he has just confirmed something that was not out publicly yet, right? You see what I'm saying, Mike?
Yeah, I got you. Okay. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting. This is where he kind of gives some details. And the source says in 2018, there were a group of people that I was involved with that had pooled everything we knew in an effort to solve it. It was a best man wins deal. It was a best man wins deal. Each person had different pieces of the puzzle. At that point, I was pretty sure it was either Medicine Wheel or Washburn had given up on Shoshone, even though literally everything pointed to that.
Okay, what's important there is there are 3 GPSs, it seems, with these different groups. There's a lot more communication here. We're trying to boil it down. One was Washburn, one was Medicine Wheel, one was Shoshone. So that there was these people came together and they were really kind of one of those teams or another. So the Medicine Wheel, if you use the eights or don't use the eights, etc. So that's what kind of gears up that first paragraph. Okay.
Everybody, we got a full house over here. Okay, so I said, damn, and you get nothing after it's sold? And he says, no. And I says, well, how many total people were in the group? And he says, but there are other people that I'm very happy for that will get something. And he says 3 that were part of the group that found it. Total of 7 or 8 from the original set, depending how you count. To be clear, I was never in this for the money. I just wanted to solve it. And I say all 7 or 8 will forever stay anonymous. You know, like I can't believe that if they all know about this. And he says, that's the intent, but you know what they say about 2 people can keep a secret. So if there are, in fact, 7 or 8 people that really know the solution, I got to imagine one of them is going to come out. Again, if this source is one of these people, then it did come out. But you guys have to judge that for yourself. Wait till the end. Do you know if they watch our YouTube show? And he says, at times, yes. And I said, so to be clear, K-Pro and I can go live and say all of this, but mention no names. And he says, I'd prefer you leave all details out about the finder. This was back then. If now the finders come out, we don't have to leave details about the finder out. If you mention the number of people, timeline, et cetera, it won't be hard for them to know where it came from. And I'll be even more on the outside than I am already. So that doesn't, to me, that sounds legit. That doesn't sound like somebody that's making everything up when they come up with a detail like that. Like they're going to figure out who I am if you give too much information. What do you think, April?
Yeah, and that's why at the time it becomes again, we're building the case. We're starting to, at this point, I'm just questioning inconsistencies, etc. The only inconsistency is at the very beginning, he said the Washburn. And we clarified with him. I don't think that's in here because it's not pertinent to this discussion. But you said Washburn at the beginning. And that's what he thought because he knew it was either Washburn, Medicine Wheel, or it was one that these 7 or 8 were working on. So this is building to the story. These details help build to a credible story at the time. So that, yeah, so it's building. It seems legit. He doesn't want to out the finder. He doesn't want the details. Later, he says all this can be shared. So we're not doing this against his wishes. But at the time, he's saying don't share too much. But I'm just trying to get it out to you, and kind of, you and him are, relatively friendly. So he's just sharing it with somebody. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
All right. So I say, okay, are these 3 finders jerks or a good group? Like I want to know if these people are, they've been good people or what. He says in that area right by Shoshone Lake. And I said, or a female. Because I think somebody said that article was like written by a female. There were people who were like that Medium article. Well, I don't know why people thought this. And he says, I think they are all good people. And one in particular that had a pretty rough patch a few years ago. There is one female. And then he goes into some other stuff that I'm not going to get into. There is one female. What he's saying is out of the 3 people that found it, there is one female. And I say, no, that's cool. They can stay anonymous for all I care. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, just because people will question the redaction, it gives very private or particular information about people that we're not going to, it's just more detail like that one female, and then this happened, and then that happened with those people, and we just wouldn't want to share that. Go ahead.
But also, to be clear, the source never gave us names. They never gave us Jack Stoof's name or anybody else's name that was part of that group. So don't ask because they never told us that. Now, yeah, if the source would have given us Jack's name and then Jack came out, that'd be one way to verify it. But the source didn't do that. He never did give us a name. And I say, no, that's cool. They can stay anonymous for all I care. I said, are they on the forums? And he says, the finder himself had been. That's how I met them. Again, that's how I met them. But that was a different forum and not in the last 2+ years, just like I haven't been on anything in some number of years. Okay, I have no interest in finding out who they are. With the BS lawsuits, I disappear too. And he says, yeah, and the crazy people out there. And I say, yes. And he says, one thing, I do not know what Forrest's wish for the treasure is. And the first time I heard about that was in that post. So again, the source is saying I have inside information, but that's one piece of it I didn't know. And that just leads credence to, somebody that's lying is like, oh yeah, I knew that. And I knew that. I knew the whole story. They're not doing that. It just, to me, it makes sense.
Right, exactly. That actually gives more credibility when you say, oh, I didn't know that, but I knew this. And, kind of humble and saying, here's the things I know and don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you know it? And then I point out, ask, well, how do you know it's those three people from this group you're talking about? And he says, I'm not sure if that is BS or not. What he means there is that Forrest had a wish for the treasure. And I said, everyone thinks it means the Cody Museum. And he says, because I saw a picture of the chest the day it was announced. I ask, how do you know it's those three from the group? And he says, because I saw a picture of the chest the day it was announced. Remember, Forrest didn't put pictures up on Dale's blog until what? 2 weeks later, after he announced it was found. The source is saying, I saw those pictures, a picture of the chest the day it was announced. And I said, and from the ground, you can tell Shoshone area. And he says, I know where they were searching last August, and I know they plan to go back when the park opened. They planned to go earlier, but obviously COVID messed that up. And I said, okay, got it. I'll go over it all tomorrow on the PC. And this is where I think I finally start going through the poem and the homophones, and does this all make sense or not? And he says, thank you, Mike. I hope it helps everyone find closure. And again, this is why this person reached out. Ben Wallace, in his news article, tried to say it was sour grapes. This person was part of a group, and they're pissed off that they weren't the ones to find it. No, they want closure for the community, meaning this is where it was found. Just want to make that clear. Ben Wallace did an assumption, which was incorrect. And I said, if they can find the blaze tomorrow, it would help. Okay, this is when you guys go to Yellowstone then. Because I say if they can find the blaze, meaning Justin, Cynthia, and K-Pro, it will be huge, meaning it'll be huge with this area.
Right. So then let me give context of what's going on that you guys saw or maybe didn't see. So Cynthia had said to me, I need to make one last effort up there. She was thinking about, okay, so we were still assuming potentially Washburn because I'm not getting this direct information from Mike. I'll tell you a little bit of a funny story. Not that we would ever break the law because of course we would not do that. Washburn was closed at that time. So we talked to somebody to helicopter us in, which we found out was illegal at that time. There are helicopter tours, but not at that time. We looked at walking it. This was on that Friday before we left. We then figured out I could not walk it. I could not make it that far. It was like 5 miles in, 5 miles back. And it looked pretty treacherous once you get off the road. So I said to Cynthia, what are we going to do? And this is funny. The reason that she couldn't take a lot of stuff is because she brought her mountain bike. It was legal to get in. We were trying to figure out a legal way to get into Washburn because we were still thinking Washburn, even though he gave us a second GPS, that initial message that came on June 6th was Washburn area. So at that time, now it's Saturday. She's like, I'm going. And I'm like, let me get home. I was on Mr. Clue boots on the ground. I said, let me get home. I got home. I took bathing suits, put them aside, packed winter gear, put it on. She picked me up at 6 a.m. But during that time is when Mike verified the numbers. And she said, I'm going to bring the bike anyway. But we transitioned from Washburn over to this Lacey spot because Mike started verifying the GPS coordinates and it started making sense. These pieces all started coming together. Okay, Mike, go.
Yeah, and I forgot that at this point, yes, we have gone over the poll and we have realized the numbers are there. You're on your way to Yellowstone to check it out. Yeah, you were in Catalina, which Mr. Clue's treasure was on Catalina, but that's another story. Another one we didn't find. Okay, there we go. And I say if they can find a blaze, it will be huge in this location, right? And I say, is one of them a shy guy from back east, or did he make it up to protect them, meaning Forrest? And the source says, absolutely a guy from back east, and he has the chest in his possession. No question at all about that. Shy is a play on words. Let's just say I chuckled when I heard that. And I said, why? And the source says, TMI, too much information. He doesn't want to tell me. Says, bedtime for me, talk tomorrow. I said, okay, thanks, man. And then he says, this is where they want to park. It's right at the trailhead. This is the Lacey Creek. This is exactly where you guys went, etc. And now the first time you guys went, go ahead.
Okay, go back. Two things. One, Fripp25 says that road was shut down. Right, that's exactly why she was bringing her mountain bike. But two, here's going to be an important one that we're going to question later. He says it was a play on words with his name, I'm assuming. What was the play on words? That actually is one of the inconsistencies later. So he said that was where he said it was his play on words. What's the play on words? So
we don't know. Yeah,
we don't know.
I guess I could ask the source now since the name has come out what he meant, but yeah, I have not done that.
I thought when his name came out, it would be like Jack Shireson or
Yeah, it would
something
make
like
sense
that.
if you knew the
Yeah.
name, right?
Yeah. And it didn't.
Well, actually, one theory we had was shy guy from back east. He's not shy because he did all those articles. Jack Stuff is not a shy guy. He did all those articles. Some he got in trouble for, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. But he used to do articles for different news sources. So shy guy was a joke, meaning he's not shy. He puts articles out. That's his job. That's just a theory, but it's just a theory between me and Capro, right? I thought you came up with that, Capro.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the only thing. But didn't he say, let's bring it back up. Didn't he say a play on words on his name, or did it just say play on words?
No, all it says is shy is a play on words. It doesn't say his name. It just says shy is a
And
play
that
on
could
words.
be because he's obviously not shy.
And
And
play
he's
on
not shy
words.
now.
He posts articles, words, article as words. Maybe that's what it means. Again, we're just guessing. But to me, that really doesn't matter. But yeah. But again, it could lead credence that the source is true in what they're saying. And we're going to talk about the different scenarios here. We're almost done with these messages, and we're going to go over what is really going on here. Okay, so he's saying park right there, down Shoshone, K-Pro, Justin, Cynthia, they go. And I say, this is your first boots on the ground. I say, they didn't find it. They said the trees in the park don't match the pictures. Any ideas where to look next? He says, I'm sure that's the area. Not sure what else to say. I know that's where they were searching. It doesn't match. If it took them 25 days to find it, it could be miles away. And the source says, I'm not sure what to say. I'll try to get a question answered directly, meaning from the source or from whoever his acquaintance is that knows the source. Do you know what time of day the pictures were taken? I don't. Okay, well that sucks. I think Justin was trying to do a shadow thing. If they knew what time of picture, the time of day.
Not only Justin, we were all, we saw,
You, whoever.
well, we saw the lodge, the lodgepole pines were casting a shadow, and we thought when you get in the middle of the dense brush, you can get turned around. It's like we were trying to figure out which way to look to position ourselves to line up to have the lodgepole pines. So that was the reason for that request of information. Okay.
And I say, well, that sucks. And I say, well, I wonder if they switched locations for some reason. And he says, I don't believe that. I asked. And remember, everybody, this is not just a searcher saying this is where I think they were. This is a searcher saying I'm talking to the people who found it. I don't believe that. I asked. Or even if it's somebody who knows the finder. You know what I mean? This is somebody on the inside who has inside information, which is why we believe it. Or believed it in K-Pro's case. He says, I asked, and I said, cool, they could go back tomorrow, meaning K-Pro, Cynthia, and Justin, but they need more info. And he says, I'll let you know on October 5th. And the next morning, October 6th, crickets, message is patience, more is coming. So he's saying, I asked the finder, or at least somebody who knows the finder, and they responded and said, patience, more info is coming, more coming soon. And then I say on October 6th, that afternoon, when you finally got out of the park, to get cell reception, they found the spot. Now the question is, do we go live with the pictures? What do you think? So in other words, you've gone live, remember? Okay. You want to talk, or do you want me to go to the next one?
No, don't go to the next one yet. So there's two things that have happened here. And this is where I was wrong. Mike was like, we had that information that we were in the wrong spot. The trees were not lining up. I was concerned. I didn't want to put it out because I was actually concerned more of a safety issue. We have a lot of people a lot of searchers were really desperate by this point if they knew we were up there, all of that. But Mike's like, let's put it out. Let's see if we can figure out what the issue was. Randy Pischel from the Beacon Star, he did a video the next morning that said, you're at 2 seconds. It could be 0.2 minutes. Try this new area. That's why the first day we were in these, I call them fluffy Christmas tree areas. We were looking for lodgepole pines. That took us to the 0.2 minutes, which that'll become important in a second. So the cool part about this is the community is actually what helped. It wasn't our source with the finder. So now we've gone live once saying, help us. We did it generically. We didn't say, we're looking for this and we have a source. We were saying what Mike actually did that first video. If you remember, let's see, it would have been, we traveled Sunday. So it would have been on Monday. Monday night, we went live and said, look, Mike just did a look at this. And he walked everybody through Paddle Creek, the homophones, all of that. That is when, though, Randy did the video Tuesday morning. And then we went out Tuesday, and we found it. That's what's happening, what you guys were seeing. These were the communications at that time. Okay, go ahead, Mike.
And basically, I say they found it. Now the question is, do we go live with the pictures? What do you think? And I mean the pictures that he sent, and then the info that you guys found when you were there. And I said, let me talk to K-Pro when they get back. We might go live tonight. And he says, well, you should either go live or capitalize on it in some way if I were you. And I say, oh, people would hate us for that. In other words, try and put it behind a paywall or try and do a book and say, this is the real solution. We didn't do any of that. We put it on YouTube for everybody to see. And it says, if you, the source says, if you choose to say anything about my help, just use stealth and nothing more, please. And I say, you will never be mentioned, which we haven't, at least not intentionally. If you choose not, that is fine also. Meaning, if you choose not to go with the pictures, if you choose not to talk about this, that's fine also. Please let me know if you plan on going live, because I'll watch, and I was planning to go out, and I'll let you know, and I owe you a pic of the blaze. In other words, a picture of the blaze, because you guys are there. It says, thank you, waiting for K-Pro to get back in service. Yeah, it takes about 40 minutes to get out from there, meaning the park. Okay, I'll let you know. Maybe it's 11.8. That could be from the top stanza. So I guess he's just more contemplating the numbers in the poem. And I said, now to backward engineer the clues. In other words, what are the 9 actual clues, not the GPS numbers? And basically the source says, they don't matter. Take your pick. We know this is the location. The 9 clues don't matter anymore. To a lot of people, they do. But
Right. Well, and I think this is interesting because this is where some people out there say we do things for the monetization. He's saying monetize on it. We just wanted to get it out. We were so excited. We just wanted to get it out to you guys for free here. That's what we do. Thumbs up, please. Thumbs up is all we ask of you.
Getting out information anyway. So this is interesting. Check this out. And I think we're toward the end here. I'll do what I can. The source says I'll do what I can, but all of this has driven everyone to ground, if you will. And that wasn't my intent either. Whatever. Life is short. Live with no regrets. And I said, did you ever see a picture of the chest in the location? Yes, but I do not have one. It was a video on a screen and not shared. So the source just said they saw a video of the treasure chest in the location, but it was not shared. They just viewed it. I said, okay, the Forrest Fenn and Sticks was the fake blaze. Yes, I told you that, which this part doesn't really make sense. It's like at the location or 1,000 feet away. And then the source says, I think there's a fair amount of confusion about that. And I'm not sure what to say. I never had the 0.2 figured out until last week. The pick of the FF is the exact spot or not. You know, me and K-Pro are kind of like, is this, what's going on? And basically the source says, I know the location is 44 26 00 110 42 2. I think there may be telephone happening here because I was told that it was found at the same numbers. I was told it was found at the same numbers. When I put the FF there, I thought I was wrong. I didn't have a metal detector. I've come to believe that I was actually right, but I can't prove that. What is possible, and I don't note this, is that I had one version that had different numbers. Okay.
And this is where so we have gone from getting so much negativity when we put this out. We started questioning any inconsistencies that he had made. Like he gave us the 2 seconds, not 0.2. And then he was like, yeah, well, when I went out there, it was like, wait, you had been out there. This wasn't, your spot was Washburn. So now we're trying to pick apart any little detail because now it's like, it's real. We have put enough out there. We had you guys, the community along with us. So then there was a lot of questioning of the source. And I think he was as honest as he would be. So go ahead.
And I'll show you the very last one we're going to go to but what I think is what's happened is from the beginning, the story from the source evolved a little bit. It was, I know exactly that's where it was. And we took it to mean the finder told him where it was. The story evolved to, I know the finder. I know the group of people. I know where they were searching. And I know there's numbers in these poems that they were looking at in the poem, these numbers. So that has to be where it was. So that's a little bit different than saying, I know. But he says, I saw a video of the treasure chest in the location. This is somebody with inside information. So,
well, and it even gets more interesting because I think this is where Mike and I had to take a step back. And I said, Mike, I need to actually see some of these. I hadn't seen any of these. I was getting it through Mike's eyes and Mike's perception because we also had something else going on. I think we have a human being, which the source is, trying to put in his thoughts, which is his guesses. And then he has some concrete information. He didn't clarify at the end of each of those comments, this is my guess versus, or this is what I think versus this is what I know factually. But by the end, there was a lot of interchange of tell us exactly what you know, not what you think. And I think he thought he was being questioned, and it was just questioning. Everybody puts their 2 cents in. Game telephone turns into a whole different message by the end. So that's where this kind of got a little dicey there for a while.
All right, let's wrap up the messages and then we'll talk about what we think is going on here. So I say, so to be clear, you have no independent confirmation this is the spot. You have information that is secondhand, and that's fine. I just want to clarify. And the source says correct. I don't have a picture I can send you that you can look at 2 scratches on a log and say, yes, those are the same as the chest pick. This is what Candy came up with and we were talking about. But I do know they were off of Lacey Creek in those woods. I do know they, meaning the finders, were off Lacey Creek in those woods. That's when you told me they had found the spot. And then Tucker, I was like, holy shit. In other words, when Tucker alerted, he was like, holy shit. Again, he's saying where he believes they were at because he knows who the people are. He knows where they were searching, and he knows they were looking at numbers in the poem. That's a little bit different than in the beginning. He didn't really say that in the beginning. Okay. I knew it was close, but I didn't know it was the same, if that's clear. They said there are at most, that said, there are at most 4 possibilities, and most likely 2 that fit in that area. And the fact that that spot is actually point 2 makes it much more likely than not, in my opinion. But that's from Justin figuring that out and nothing else that I've heard. And that's that it's decimal degrees, 0.2, like a pilot would use, etc. And I said, are you confident the picture you sent of the canopy of branches is correct or just an assumption? I'm confident in those pictures, not an assumption. Also, I want to be clear again about something because I've actually had people reaching out to me in the last few days saying I'm the finder and the whole source story is a cover story. I'm not the finder. I don't have the chest. I'm not entitled to anything from the chest based on any agreement. So I think that clears it up a little bit that this is kind of, it's the opinion of a searcher, but it's an opinion of a searcher who says, I know the people who found it. I know where they were searching. I know they were using GPS numbers in the poem. I know it was in the park. He says, I asked, it was in the park. This source is saying they saw a video. Nobody's seen a video yet. A video of the treasure chest in its location when it was found.
Wait, well, and I think this more than anything. So for the people that are saying Mike completely made up that the finder or the source ever said he knew the finder in any way, this was invented. Mike just does it for clicks. This is not it. These are the actual messages that went back and forth. So I think that undeniably puts that baby to bed. The second thing is you guys have now seen messages that you can now go through and look at that you can say, okay, here is what I would have taken from that, or I would have, that sort of thing. Some of it was beforehand. Most of it was after the fact. There's nothing independent. We thought those pictures were independent, and that's how there could be confirmation. By the end, that was confirmed. No, that's why I'm now on the, I still like it, but I just don't know at this point. I'm more of a skeptic than not, because again, once bitten, twice shy. This is twice that somebody has not been fully transparent in the process. And yeah, I did see some messages with others that he's saying something totally different. When you do that, you kind of get questioned. Once you're caught as a liar, you're going to be questioned. So, but I think that's step one. Is this is not a made up story. He did say he knows the finder. He gave lots of detail. He worked on it. He worked on homophones with these people, and it was everybody put in, and there's a lot more messages that went into a particular detail. We could have been here all day, but this kind of helps kind of build the case of why we went out there. Some people love so where are we at now? We have we have the source to this day is saying he's holding to his story. He knew the finder. He saw that video. All of that he's saying he didn't lie to. I have asked Jack via email, did you know this particular person? He says he doesn't, even as an acquaintance. The GPS solve and coordinates are not a part of it. So at this point, one person's flat out lying. Now, why would you? Obviously, Jack would. If he's going to lose the treasure chest, there might be times that he has to tell less than truthful information. I don't know. It could be that the source has duped us all along, and that's the other. It could be either one. So I don't know. I lean towards the finder, but I sure do like this solve. So I don't know. What do you say, Mike?
We're not done with the messages yet. Let's go back.
Oh, I thought that was the last one.
No,
I'm sorry.
That's okay. So basically saying not an assumption. And then, yeah, we'll give our thoughts. I'm not the finder. I don't have the chest. I'm not entitled, blah, blah, blah. Is it and then I bring up the point, is it possible you were lied to in the final about the final location? Someone wants you to believe it for some reason. The source says no. I say, okay, so the only independent verification you have is you saw a video of the chest in that exact spot, because the day it was found, you sent the incorrect latitude longitude with the 8s and said that was it. And the source says there are two things happening here, Mike. Who found the chest and where it was found? I have lots of confirmation about who found the chest. Zero question about that. I know where they were searching. I do not know, other than general video, the exact spot. The last direct communication I had was late last year with this specific individual. On the day it happened, I was told the coordinates were correct by my contact, who was very, very, very close to that person. He was told the coordinates were correct. I assume that meant with the 8s. That's an area very near Washburn. Happy to go over it. As it settled down, it was clear that it was Lacey. I do not have independent confirmation that the exact spot was where I had been, which I still thought was these numbers. What I can say is that your pics from the Nook clearly look like something was removed from what I saw and believe showed you. I did not dig or have a metal detector. Someday in person, I will show you communication with Forrest that led to the dug a mushroom and ate it because he didn't know the rules. But I will never snapshot that. But I'll show it to you and you can decide what you want. Not sure what else to tell you. And then that's kind of the end of the story, everybody. But like K-Pro does say, like K-Pro has said, our source still maintains that what they're saying is correct. So there's one of a couple things happening here. One, the source is straight up lying to us, straight up invented knowing anything, invented seeing a video, just invented everything, just straight up lied. That's one possible solution to this whole story. Number two, the flip side of the coin is that the source is right and that Jack Stoof is lying about everything. And Jack would lie to protect himself because it was found in Yellowstone National Park if the GPS numbers are correct. Okay. Those are two sides of the coin. And then there's a gray area in between. And that is maybe the source was involved with a group of people. Maybe some of those people did actually find it, but maybe somebody's lying to the source. Maybe somebody was like, hey, source, you were right. Those GPS numbers were correct. Why somebody would lie to him, I don't know. But when he goes back and forth and says, I heard something would be coming out soon, then the Medium article comes out. I say, I know nothing was going to come out till Forrest died. Nothing did come out until Forrest died. Me and K-Pro looked at it and thought, well, let's go live with it. I mean, we believed in it enough that K-Pro went and found the exact spot because we wanted to know.
Yeah, and really it was Justin, but it was our team, that the Operation Nook team that came together.
Found it.
Yeah, and I'll just make one comment on this. No one's solve is right or wrong. Everyone's solve is special. Truth seekers are saying we're talking. No one's is right or wrong. Yes, but when it comes to where the treasure chest was, we believe there was one correct solve. So I'm not saying that if I went to Oco Caliente and it was beautiful, that it's a ridiculous argument to say everyone's is right. No, if your intent was to get to, hey guys, if your intent was to get to a treasure chest, there is one that is correct. So that's the one that we're talking about. So that is where, yeah. So it's kind of at this point, one way or another. It's not really both. I mean, it can't be both. Either the source's story is true or the finder's story is true. But based on the information they have given back. I know him. No, he doesn't know me. GPS, not GPS. These are, one can't be factually correct while the other one, there's no gray area in this one.
So if I weigh the source is lying or Jack is lying, who has the most to lose? That would be Jack. There's a reason why Jack would lie. The only reason the source would lie would be to mess with us, and if that was what you accomplished, well, good for you. You know what I mean? But what is not false is that the numbers are in the poem. Those GPS numbers are in the poem in order, starting with begin it. And they lead you to Yellowstone National Park where Forrest is umbilically attached as a kid. It just makes sense. And then the other thing, as far as using the 8 in water, ATE, water, Forrest comes out with a scrapbook that says Tasuki ate mushrooms and got sick. He didn't know the rules. It just fits in a weird kind of way. It all fits. So do I think the source is telling the truth? At this point, I don't know. Do I think Jack is lying? At this point, I don't know. But I do know those numbers are in the poem and that they lead you to an exact spot that was in Yellowstone is convincing, in my opinion. Jack, I hope you watch this video and I hope you refute it. I hope you either make your own video or make another article or whatever it is you want to do, but just come out and say it, I guess. I think you've said it to K-Pro. You've said it in some emails. I think, Jack, you should come out publicly if, in fact, it is incorrect. What the sources said, even after all this has happened and after Jack came out, is you'll see. More will come out and you'll see that I'm telling the truth. I
Yeah,
don't know.
because he did say at the beginning the solve was going to be coming out, and so something, if we believe the source, something has happened. It that piece is interesting. So again, this is enough information that we're still holding true to our agreement that we haven't put the source's name, address, whatever is in the last subpoena. We didn't put any of that out, but we're putting enough out there so you guys know without a doubt. I think without a doubt that the source claims to know the finder, why we got up in a car or in a truck and headed up, and the numbers are there. And actually, the one night that Justin and I and Cynthia sat, I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday night, if you go back through a lot of the stuff that Forrest said, it actually fits this solve. That's why I liked it so much. I'm not saying that I'm back on Team GPS. I don't know. After revealing the GPS solves, others tried to turn it into a shrine. If you had proof of the real spot, would you reveal it? Fripp, if there was no legal reason not to, think about this. Who cares if there's a shrine? There was some things left there. Nothing was destroyed. I think that shows more than anything. So we have a place in the wilderness that some tchotchkes were left and some people tromped around in. It's an open wilderness area. Why not? There's a few things that I don't believe. Jack saying we don't want the place to be trampled. That might be a small reason, but there's a larger reason. So he's not lying. He's just not telling the whole truth, in my opinion. But what do you think, Mike? Oh, and Jack's in the room. Hi, Jack.
Yeah, I was just say, is that him? Is somebody? Yeah, that's him. Hey, first off, let me be perfectly clear. Jack Stoof found the treasure chest. Jack Stoof owns the treasure chest. Nobody's disputing that. You are the finder. Congratulations. What we all want to know for closure for the community is how you found it, right? And what specifically were these GPS numbers in the poem correct or not? Yeah, that's kind of what it boils down to. I'm not worried about the source. The source has said, I don't have no ownership. I don't get any money. It's not that kind of an angle. I want people to know that this is where it was and this is how it's found so people can just move on. You're going to get the 7% that believe it was in New Mexico, no matter what comes out. But I understand, Jack, why you can't come out with the solution. I don't believe it's the pristine to preserve the pristine nature. I think it's because of a legal issue, which I understand. I don't think Forrest thought of everything. I don't think he thought of the lawsuits that were going to happen, that kind of thing. But that's just my opinion. Yeah, and somebody said that's not Jack. Again, I didn't see the Stoof. Is it spelled right and all that? Whatever.
Well, no,
But
and
Jack might be watching.
it doesn't have his avatar right
Yeah,
and
yeah,
any
yeah.
of that.
But
No,
Jack may watch this. Well, somebody out there, send him the link and ask him, hey, can you comment on this video on what the source said specifically? That's all. But again, if Jack is going to lie, it doesn't matter. He's going to lie because he doesn't want people to know it was in Yellowstone National Park. K-Pro created a pretty convincing PowerPoint presentation on why it can never come out that it was in Yellowstone. And that's because of the deaths and the issues that Yellowstone has had, right? They now have a case to say you got to make us right. You owe money. But anyway, that's not the point of this video. Point of this video was to show that me and K-Pro didn't make anything up. We may have twisted a couple things. We may have said some things incorrectly, and that's fine. But there was no malintent. We didn't do it maliciously. We didn't do it to fake or deceive anybody. A person came to us and said, this is where it was found. I know who found it. I know somebody who's very, very close to them. They're giving us information as things happen. There's certain things they said that turned out to be true. Nothing would come out till Forrest died, etc. Then an article comes out. And that same source, if you believe them, says there'll be more to come out. I think the lawsuits have to be resolved before anything happens, in my opinion. But the source is like, you'll see, just wait. That's all they can say is wait, you'll see. So there it is. We didn't make it up as far as that the source says they knew the finder. They knew somebody very close to the finder. They were in a group with these people, and 3 of these people out of that group found it. And there it is. We just wanted to set the record straight. Again, it's the end of the year. it's kind of a closure for me on the Forrest Fenn chapter. We will still go live when there's updates, whether it's a lawsuit or whether some more information comes out from Jack. I think K-Pro's still going to try and do the emails on Thor, although we're trying to do it electronically now.
Yeah, so let me talk to that. If you know a lot about Google Forms, etc., I got so many more than I thought I was going to. I haven't even read them all. So I'm going to try to find a way to automate it rather than have me manually put it in, just because life's gotten too busy for me to manually put all them in. The person that reached out and said, I can set up a Google form for you, has disappeared, maybe due to the holidays. But if you have that expertise and can help me, reach out to me, send me an email, and we can make Thor the spot and data dump that or give access to. I don't even know how it works. You guys know I'm not techie, but I do think it'd be interesting to have all of that. I asked Jack what were the reasons for stanzas 1, 5, and 6, like I asked Forrest, and Forrest wouldn't answer. Jack answered, so I have some cool emails. I did want to know from Jack, especially with the lawsuits coming up with Dale's site, Dale shutting down in 4 days, what was happening with that, when is he putting out further information, because he did say he's going to be putting out like some further Q&As and things like that. He's not ready to talk about that yet because I think it's kind of up in the air due to the legalities, in my opinion. But he did want to say happy holidays and Merry Christmas to everybody. This was yesterday. This particular one came in yesterday when I asked him that. So I think it's pretty cool that he's still communicating. He doesn't, you can tell he is not married to his computer like Forrest was, but he does get back usually within a few hours to a day. And I appreciate that about him.
So I guess since we are talking Forrest Fenn Treasure Found, was there any other updates? Is there any updates on the lawsuits? Is there anything else now that we've basically showed the messages and said we didn't make this up? This is what was communicated to us. We just decided to go live with it and go to the exact spot. That's done. We've got that out there. Is there anything else to update, I guess?
No, I think that this is, well, that your question kind of goes along with this one is since the GPS is now dead along with your channel, does this mean you can't come up with another solve? No, so this is the amazing thing about YouTube. I know you have said we're not allowed to do that, but you don't get a vote. We're going to go on YouTube as long as we want. And guess what? There's still a story here. There's still a lot of you guys. It's awesome that you guys are up on Thor and rocking it with questions. There is somebody, his name is O. If you go up on Thor, so there's a few things that we're going to follow from here on. We're going to follow whatever comes out next. We're not going to be partial like GPS. I was in, I'm a little bit out. If I come up with a new solve, guess what? I get to do that. You don't get a vote. But I won't be dramatic here. But here's the cool part. We have a lot more to come. So there's a gentleman by the name of O. He put his real name up. I don't remember it. It's up on Thor. He is the one that did the Photoshop forensic analysis. It seems like he dabbles in that area, but isn't like a certified person in that area. He is at, some people are controversial. Some people are upset with me about what I'm going to say, and you're just going to have to deal with it because I think it is true to us wanting the truth more than just pushing our particular solve or ending. So here's what he's doing. He's hiring a forensic photograph analysis person. There are people that do this for a living and they go into the courts and they say whether something is photoshopped or doctored. You can actually get into the source document and code. I don't know. There is some magical way that you can know this. This gentleman is hiring someone like that. It's $1,000 a picture to do. And he has said, can anybody help me? Here's my email. Here's my, I don't know if it's a PayPal, whatever it is. I don't necessarily know if I agree that everything's been photoshopped. He goes into terminology that takes it to a whole different level. Some people have already donated to him. He is getting it to this person. It looks like he's going to try to get as much money as he gets. He's going to have as many of those photographs analyzed in a way to say whether they were doctored or not. I don't say, some people are upset that I am even allowing it or saying this because that goes against Forrest. that goes against the chase. I think the chase has taken so many turns. I want to know if they were manipulated. There might be a reason they did. I still believe there's a chest. I still believe Jack solved it, and I still believe it's with the treasure chest is with Jack. And all of that I still believe, but I do believe it's going to be informational to know. So that's something new that's popped up. Go
I have
ahead.
no problem with somebody trying to do that. Like, I don't understand why people are like, don't do it. Don't let them do it. Don't let them post it on Thor. Why not? It's just a theory, right? It's like the GPS. It's a theory that somebody has. They actually want to spend the time and money to try and prove or disprove the theory. Good for them. Let them do what they want.
Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out. We know that the treasure chest, well, however the lawsuits settle out, I think that'll be interesting to have them settle. I don't think they're as big a part of this story. They've changed things. They're an inflection point, but I don't want to get into all the details. They're both well underway. I think it's sad where it's at. So now the next step, yeah, God, people are
How do you not
fixated.
believe Jack has the treasure chest? I just don't understand. See, that's the
Oh,
kind of
don't.
stuff we don't. I mean, you could talk about it, but how do you not believe Jack has a treasure chest when there's a picture of him and Forrest with the treasure chest? I don't get it.
Oh, he's saying because he said it's in a vault in New Mexico. He's picking apart words to say we're
Oh,
wrong.
I
This is
see.
one
Yeah,
of the, they do entire. Yeah,
that's
okay.
fine. Okay,
Let's
I get it. I get it.
crazy. Yeah, so we have the treasure chest that will be, I believe it's going to be sold or put wherever Forrest would like it. We have so much more coming up. We have the whole amusement park. I'm still kind of on the Forrest Fenn one.
A lot of other
And
treasure hunts out there. So our
what,
channel will always continue on. There's always going to be treasure hunts. So yeah, to answer that question, go ahead.
yeah, and we go through years of people having issues. There is no war because no one's fighting. Only that we're just having a good time. And yeah, we get wrapped up in things and we have issues. And Mike and I just keep going on. So the amusement park is still going. I was the 1-foot searcher in this latest U.S. treasure hunt, which means second place. Um, okay, so we have a lot coming up. I think, and once we get all of Jack's emails in one spot, I think it will be informational to go through it. I think by spring, some people go away. Okay. Okay. So I'm just, yeah, he can go. He can go. So at this point, I don't have anybody problem anybody saying that they disagree with me, but when you say we're flat out liars,
You're not going to
you
say
just,
that we lie, not on our channel anyway.
yeah, it's okay. You can go elsewhere and say, whatever legally you want to do. But anyway, okay, so we have a lot in store, but this was kind of breaking news for us because Mike, the reason I wanted to do it as breaking news is I didn't want to wait till Thursday and Mike change his mind. When you call Mike a liar, this is what you're gonna see. You're gonna see factual evidence.
You guys make up your own decision on the source. Was it legit? Is he making it up? Was it just playing a trick on us, etc.? The GPS numbers are in the poem. The source absolutely says they know who the finder is. This is before Jack came out, and that they were in communication with somebody who knows the finder very, 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 very closely. They had inside information, in my opinion. Again, no independent confirmation, but again, that's why we went live with it. That's why we picked this solution out of all the ones we got, because to me it makes sense. GPS coordinates from a pilot make absolute sense. So I'm still team GPS. Jack has refuted it. That's fine. But what Jack would need to do to change my mind is come out with the real solution. If that, maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. We'll see.
Yeah. Well, Holly, that's going to become important later because that typo came out somewhere else. This has helped me more than anything put some things together. But outside of that, how many of the U.S. treasure hunts are solved? Um, really? No, just yeah. So at this point, how many of the U.S. treasure hunts are solved? One is the Zoom group is going over to chapter 3. So we're just at a point that we still have U.S. treasure hunt, but there's so much more coming up. I'm really excited to get into Jack's emails, see what information is coming out there, and then we kind of take next steps on the Forrest Fenn hunt. Think about this. We're on what, year 11? We've had 11 years, and there's so much now that we can look back on, especially with Jack's information. Those of you that don't believe Jack, there's actually some inconsistencies. I would actually like to dive into some things that Jack has said that Forrest said a little different. Did something change? Or maybe that's where we can, the whole Blaze thing I think is interesting. So I think a lot of you are interested in it. I'm interested in it too. Yeah. So anything else, Mike? Because we had breaking news, and thank you, 220 people.
We just wanted to show you guys the messages yourself. You guys make your own decision. Two Trips says Dale announced that his site is going on 12/25. Here's the link near the bottom. So I thought it was 12/27 actually. Is it 12/25 now? Because that's just in 2 days. If that's
yeah,
correct.
I think it was 27th. Yeah.
Let's see. Blog. It does say December 27th. Looking at it right now. So December 27th, Dale's blog. Is he leaving the blog up? It just no updates, or is the whole thing coming down?
The whole thing is coming down. I think he might have to archive it due to some legalities, but his intent is on the 27th. So he has provided some, I think they're zip files. The zip files are available, and I don't know if that link is still going to be available, but all the comments, because Forrest used to comment and things. Yes, that's the piece that is not going to be available after the 27th. I did ask Dale if Thor, we could put it all, the whole thing over on Thor. That was before litigation began with him and motions began with him. So he said, let's wait until it gets closer and talk about it. I would need to talk with Mike and understand, because again, you guys already see we have people a little fixated more than so I don't know if I want that can of worms anymore now that there's litigation against that site or subpoena or whatever. I don't know if I want to go there anymore. But anyway, but
yeah, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I just wanted to bring up Jack's email with the numbers. Can you say what his response was? So if you guys don't know, Jack's email that he provided for everybody has a set of numbers. If you just simply convert those numbers to letters, it's an anagram, or Jack hid cash, or some people want to say Jack hijacked cash or something, or no, hijack cash. But to me, Jack hid cash because Jack is first, then the numbers. Jack hid cash. So when somebody asked him, what's up with those numbers, what was the response, K-Pro?
It's a coincidence. You can come up with anything if you look hard enough, but it's only a coincidence. He said he just like
coincidence.
He just said he like hit numbers and they magically just show.
It says hit like, cash. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, it's like
crazy.
Numbers in the poem. It's crazy. It took Forrest 15 years to write it, but these numbers that lead to Yellowstone. It's coincidence. It's crazy. Anyway, that's my opinion, is that somebody's not being truthful. But anyway, that's just
and it might be right that he did it randomly, but no, that one, there's a few of them that I'm like, I don't know if I believe that. Well, think about this. When Matt was the first one, Matt Smell the Sunshine, he was the first one that came out and said to Jack, was there instructions? Or why did you ask for explicit permission? And Jack's answer was very interesting. He said, I knew it could be a legal hot potato later, and I just didn't want that. Well, that was maybe technically true, but we now know there were instructions because of everything else that's come out. So he has a way of answering, just like Forrest, where it's not technically a lie, but it's leading us away from what the truth is or the intent of the question is. And that came out later with sets of instructions and all that. This is where Jack is lying. It could be, you had the right solve at the U.S. treasure hunt. Why don't you sue the finder? Nice. Alex, you're hilarious, Alex.
Yeah, we did talk about going live tomorrow for Christmas Eve and talking about the Chapter 4 U.S. treasure hunt. We may still do that. I'm not sure yet, but we may do a little Christmas special on New Year's Eve. We'll see. We may just come on and tell everybody Merry Christmas,
Yeah, because that was the one thing that I said on Thor, it's gotten a little prickly lately. And some people are like, you don't need to moderate this much and all that. I do, because here's the thing for me. Before I had my whole intact family, my little Cowlazars family that I have now, I was in a pretty dark place, especially during the holidays. And those forums made me get through in a very positive way. They really helped me. So as busy as we are running around and Christmas shopping and family and all that. I want Thor to be a place for someone else that might be struggling. I know people that have lost so much in this chase and they are upset now. And their upsettedness, they go up on forums and become keyboard warriors. Even in here, they become keyboard warriors. And I think we should protect from that. So Thor is going to be as relative. It's not okay. I equated it to the biker bar versus like tea at noon. We're not tea at noon. We're not the biker bar. We're somewhere in between. So it's okay to disagree. It's okay to get heated. It's not okay to really, really, really get ugly like they do. So, yeah. So I want Thor to be that place because that's what it was for me. I love having the chat here. That's like the new and improved forum. But so I do want to come on and just say we have elf costumes and it's just we're an elf little family and it's so cute because we have a 7, a 9, 11, 13, two dogs, two cats, two guinea pigs. I mean, you and I want a picture of all 12 of those little beings together tomorrow.
And when are we getting back to the Beacon Star? That's what I want to know. So new year, new treasure hunt. I think we get back to the Beacon Star, among other things. But yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, wait, I need to clarify this. Craig, I don't hate biker bars, but you know what you get into. I went in a biker bar once and there was a really, really ugly fight and somebody had a knife and I got out of there. I'm not saying that that's all biker bars, but you know what you're going to get into. You know it gets a little unruly sometimes. If you go to high tea, you know probably there's not going to be a knife. But and then there's somewhere in between. I like the country cheers bar. It can get a little rowdy, but it's kind of friendly and that's what I'm talking about. I don't judge a biker bar. I don't judge high tea. I'm just somewhere in between. That's where I like to be. I like to go and sit and have a drink and it gets a little rowdy and I see my friends and I say, "Hey," but it doesn't get into suing and crazy and attacking and doxing and all of those things. That's just for me. But could I occasionally go into a biker bar if I'm feeling feisty? Sure, but not normally. Normally, I like, and Mike's like, I don't drink. I don't know what you're talking about. Mike, you look so excited to talk about biker bars.
Yeah. No, I don't feel good today. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the dentist stuff or what, but yeah, I'm just out of it today. But anyway, that's it, guys. We just wanted to clear the air. And again, set the record straight, meaning we showed the messages. You guys make your own conclusions. You still want to believe that we lied and we just did it for the clicks and for the views. Hey, you believe that all you want. I sleep good at night, and I think we proved that the what the source told us, whether you believe the source or not, that's totally up to you. Everybody's got to make their own decisions, but those GPS numbers are there. That's all I can say. Homophones, and I'll just say it. A lot of people said, well, the 8 in water kills the theory. A homophone is sounds like, not letters written in a word, right? A homophone, hear me all and listen good. Water does not sound like 8 at all. When somebody says the word water, I don't hear the number 8. When somebody says effort, I hear 4. When somebody says 2, I hear the number 2. When somebody says listen, I hear 10. The in at the end, 10 because it's TEN. Again, you believe it, you don't believe it. That's totally up to you.
But let's just say, for the sake of argument, that you could have heard 8 in, let's
Water.
say it was waiters, just for sake of discussion.
But okay.
It if Forrest then, and you have it, and you're like, Forrest, this is the right solve, and he came out with that, it's Forrest's solution. And Forrest said Tasuki ate the mushrooms and didn't know the rules. So I hate to say, like, you would be one that would say, but my solution was better than Forrest then. Great, you have the greatest solution without the treasure chest. Forrest, I think, Forrest, I think, was probably trying to help some people towards the end. I think he wanted this done. I think he knew he didn't want to leave his family with the disaster that they have right now. I mean, the latest where somebody was at, or they were trying to serve her at her house and guns, and God, they're just trying to defend their family. It is so sad what is going on right now. And so I think um, I want to wish the family, especially Zoe, that strong mama bear, protect your family. And I think it's important that you guys get some peace through this. So I know this might have been grandpa or dad's or whoever in your family's thing. But Forrest has passed and you guys have been handed something that I don't think you wanted. And I don't think you want this kind of people focused on you in the way that they are. And I don't know if it's ever going to change. This might be a lifelong curse that you are given. And I am so sorry about that. But I hope their family is tight knit enough. I hope you have an enjoyable Christmas. I know you guys probably are not watching, but I'll make sure that you guys know you guys are loved by many. And most of us know that you guys are going through some hardships, and we're sorry about that.
Well, Hooli says, what do you hear when I say have? The word have, HAVE, have. I don't hear a number. I don't hear eight. I don't hear any number for a have. If that's what you meant, Hooli, I don't hear a number when somebody says have. When somebody says two, I hear number two. When somebody says effort, I hear four. Somebody said, well, you're just picking out the ones you wanted to use in the poem. Those are the only ones I see. If somebody's emailed me, I'm happy to have a conversation on it. Cowlazars at gmail.com. And maybe I do a show just on this.
Wait a minute. You're talking to the guy that has not checked his email in 4 days
Yeah,
because
I couldn't be
life has
finding
gotten,
emails.
yeah. And I've gotten some emails. Did Peggy pass as well? Yes. Peggy passed about 30 days after Forrest did.
Not interesting how they say older couples. That's how it happens. When one goes, the other goes, and pretty soon thereafter. Yeah.
66 years. Yep. So see, it changes every few. Yeah. Well, so we probably will check in with you tomorrow. It won't be breaking news, but it will be a Merry Christmas to you all. But in case you are going to take the day off, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, hug your bunchkins. We're going to go and have some fun. I don't know, at the dog park somewhere. Get out of this house and go and have some fun some places. So thanks, guys, for being here. Thanks for making this kind of an enjoyable community. I think I got wrapped up a little bit too serious for a while because I had deja vu of a couple years ago. But this time I've learned I'm just going to ignore the negative and focus on the positive and do us. And anybody says we can't go on, we're going on anyway. How you like that?
Yeah, everybody. The Treasure Hunt Amusement Park is there. We still have treasure hunts. We've got new treasure hunts that'll come out next year, I'm sure. Merry Christmas to everybody and Happy New Year. We hope you're doing good. Send a treasure hunting book to somebody as a gift. Beacon Stars on Amazon for $7. The Great U.S. Treasure Hunts on Amazon for $8.88. So if you've got, send it to somebody. Yeah, Merry Christmas, and thank you everybody for tuning in. We do go live every Monday and Thursday to talk about these treasure hunts, and again, any breaking news on the Forrest Fenn Treasure Found, we will go live and let you guys know what it is. Thanks for sticking with us through this whole year and all the years. We hit 4,000 subscribers, so please hit subscribe if you haven't. Hit the thumbs up. When we get to 5,000 subscribers, me and K-Pro are going to do something very special. Okay, everybody. Yeah. Anything else, K-Pro?
I don't think so. Not today. But we will. The reason to subscribe is we will go on live. We try to post it on Facebook and Thor. Sometimes we don't. But if we do get breaking news, and you never know when that can happen, we are going to go live and put that out there. And yeah, Merry Christmas to everybody. This year, I feel like this is my first year that happiness is just all around me, and I feel very blessed. And so many of you are my friends in my wedding, coming to my wedding. It's coming up. It's coming up. Gosh, less than 30 days away.
World
Uh,
Series of Fenn, January 30th, everybody. Wait, let me verify that.
yeah,
January 30th, yeah. January 30th, there's going to be a big party. So if you can make it to Vegas, come on out and say hi, introduce yourself, say, I'm so and so on Thor, I'm so and so on YouTube. And yeah, we can talk about all the rides in the Treasure Hunting Amusement Park.
yeah, and I am gonna definitely try to do in the next day or two a World Series of Fenn. What's the update? Where is Vegas at? What does all that mean? Are you still having a wedding? We are. Are you still having World Series of Fenn? That's definitely happening. Some of our get-togethers might be broken up into smaller groups. So yeah. So anyway, but even to the others right now that are having challenges, I know Barbara's in here calling us idiots. I even wish you a Merry Christmas. I hope you find some happiness because it seems that maybe some are struggling more than others. So I hope
Yeah,
that
all we ask is you don't call names. Everybody has their own opinion on how the treasure hunt ended, on Forrest Fenn, on lawsuits. Everybody has opinions. Just don't call names. That's all. That's all we ask.
yeah.
Mike
So
Hunt, you can come to Vegas. I don't know. Can you? Is that a question about can you physically? Only you can decide that, but you're invited. Everybody's invited.
no, that's definitely the real one. And yeah, so yeah, and And again, this is what the one thing I know about this hunt. I think the night that the hunt was called off, or Forrest said it was found. People have really struggled, and everybody's struggling in their own way. And so all I'll say is, again, to everybody, we don't know what someone's going through. People didn't know. There was times I had a bad day, and I would get on the forums a couple years ago and just be mad at the world. We don't know what people are going through. It doesn't excuse what some people are doing. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's Christmas time. So let's all take some time. Maybe let's go a little bit and not call names on either side, and just say you must have gone through some really hard things to be doing this, either on the forums or whatever. And let's just be a little bit more patient than we normally would be, because I feel sad for some of the people and how desperate they're getting with their actions. And Christmas time is so hard on so many. You're not with your families. Maybe you're now looking where you don't have your house anymore. You don't have your kid. You don't have whatever your situation is, and you're blaming this hunt. Let's just refocus, and let's become the friends that we were before. I don't think we were all ever friends all together, but you guys are. I have my friends, and there's so many of you that you're my virtual friends. So anyway, I'm not going to go on and on. I'm just saying, everybody take one step back and say, let me be a little patient. That person must be going through some hard things. And I don't care if it's lawsuits. I don't care if it's some flaming that's going on between the forums or on Facebook or whatever. Let's just take a step and say Merry Christmas. So Barbara, Merry Christmas. Greg, Merry Christmas. To everybody in the treasure hunting amusement park, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and I hope you stay safe.
And let's have a good new year, everybody. Okay, if you guys don't know what the Treasure Hunt Amusement Park is, check it out.
It's open when it's light, it's open when it's dark. It's the Treasure Hunt Amusement Park. Masquerade and Forrest Fenn are closed, but there are plenty more rides than just those. There's Beacon Star and Treasure Man, Vegas Die and Oak Island. Give 'em a try and you'll be smiling. This place never closes, that's for certain. There's always a reason to keep searching. Boots on the ground, look, look, look. Your ticket to the ride is the book. The dream of the treasure is the hook. The dream of the treasure is the hook. Keep searching forever, start searching now. Grand adventures with K-Pro and Cow. The secret, a gypsy's kiss, the whistle pig. Come watch our show, win a prize, little or big. This place never closes, that's for certain. There's always a reason to keep searching. Boots on the ground, look, look, look. Your ticket to the ride is the book. The dream of the treasure is the hook. The dream of the treasure is the hook.
I love you guys. The chat room is just cracking me up right now.
We can just leave it up. If you guys want to just talk for a couple hours, I'll just let it run. Yeah, that's up to you guys. Yeah, there are many more rides than just those, everybody. Next year is going to be a great year. It is what we make of it, right? So let's get together and solve some treasure hunts.
2020 is just so behind us. 2021, it's going to be it. It's going to be awesome, because God, 2020, it was awful.
Okay, everybody. We'll see you.
Bye.
Merry Christmas.